Welcome back, guys. So this is our next tutorial for the Devops. So in the tutorial, basically we will start the automatic deployment using the Dockerfile. In the last lecture, we have connected the Linux A machine to B machine and successfully deployed the war file into the Tomcat folder. But that all the things, all the commands that we have did that is manually. But in this step, using the Docker file, we will build the image and provide the same command into the Jenkins, and then we will do the automatic deployment. In the later, we will discuss the disadvantage of this process, and then we will introduce the new DevOps tool called ANSIBLE to overcome these kind of the disadvantages. So first, we will start the deployment using the Docker file. So what we have did in the last lecture, basically we have downloaded the Tomcat latest image, and then we will copy that particular war file into the Tomcat webapps folder, and then we will run the application. Then it will be shows the war file is successfully deployed. The same thing we can do using the Docker file also. So in the Docker file, basically we have the multiple syntax and the commands that is basically used for the building the Docker file. So for creating the Docker file, first we need to understand the syntax that is required to create the Docker file. So few syntax is basically required. So whatever the things that we are doing manually, we have to create. So first we are fetching the Tomcat image and installing the Tomcat. So for that the command is called from. So if you want to install any image from the Docker using the Docker file, you just need to provide the from and the image name, and the colon latest means that download the latest one. If you not provide the latest, then it will you can provide the specific version number also. So from is the command that is basically used for the fetching the image and installing it. Second one command is called copy. Copy is used for copying the file outside from the outside world to the inside the Docker. So we use the Docker ps command and the Docker cp command, sorry, and then we have copied that bar file from the our Linux B machine to the Docker container. The same things we can do using the copy command. So the copy is the command, and what things we have to copy? We have to copy the webapps.war file, and where we need to copy the user local Tomcat and the webapps. No need to mention Docker here, means the copy command is already known that we need to copy from the outside world from Linux machine to the inside the Docker only. So that command we can use for the copy purpose. And the third command is called run. Run is basically used to run the command inside the Docker. So whatever the command you want to run inside the Docker container, for that you can mention in the run. Any command you can run using the run keyword. So run, and the command that we are using basically when we install the image, all the necessary folders comes inside the webapps.dist folder. So we have to move that folder from the webapps.dist to webapps that we have did in the last lecture using the cp-r command. The same thing we can do in the Docker files. So we just can say run and then cp-r the command, and then we can provide the path that move all the folders from webapps.dist to webapps. So these all the things that we have did manually, we need to create a Docker file for that. So I've just logged in this container, and it's disconnected. Just give me a minute. So it's connected again. So we have to need to create the Docker file inside the EC2 user, because we are using the EC2 user in the Jenkins, and then the same file will be create inside the EC2 user only, then Jenkins will access that particular file directly. So login as a EC2 user, just press exit here. And now we have login as a EC2 user, ls-a type to check. So I've already created a Docker file that, so you have need to create a Docker file using the vi command, vi and then Docker file. If the file is already present, then it will open the same file. If it's not present, then it will create a new file. So follow the naming convention. We need to follow the name as a Docker file. So the command will automatically check for this file and run that particular file. So just vi and Docker file. The same thing that we have discussed, we need to paste it here from Tomcat latest, that will download the Tomcat image and install it. And then we have to copy that particular war file that is present inside the EC2 home directory, because we are currently inside the EC2 home directly only. So just we need to provide the path like /webapp.war. So it's because we are on the same path only, and where we have to copy inside the container user local tomcat inside the webapps. So that will copy that particular webapps file inside the tomcat webapps folder. And then we have to move that webapps.dist folder to inside the Tomcat webapps. So for that, we have to run cp, run the command for the running the command, then cp-r, and then we have to move this all the webapps.dist folder to webapps folder. So these are the command is required. So that our Docker file is ready with all the configuration. Just skip it and colon wq not for the saving the file. The file is ready. Now building the file, if you want to build that particular Docker file, if you build the Docker file, then it will create the image for it. So for the building the Docker file, we have command called docker build and -t, and then we can provide the image name. T is basically for the tag name, and we can provide the any name for the image that we are creating using the Docker file. So just copy this particular command and paste it. Because we are on the same folder inside the EC2 user home, so no need to provide the file. It will automatically search for the Docker file and build it. Docker build -t, and that is the image name that we create using the Docker file. Just press enter. I think sorry, actually, I forgot to put the dot. Docker build -t Tomcat image is the image name, and dot means it will search the Docker file inside that particular folder, and then it will run that particular file. Just press enter. So see, the step 1, 2, 3 is executing. So that step 1, it is pulling the Tomcat image. In the step 2, it's a down copying the particular web file inside the webs folder, and the step 3 is running the copy command. So all the things that we have did manually, that all the steps is completed successfully using the Docker file. Step 1, step 2, step 3, and it successfully generated the image. The image name is Tomcat image. Now our image is ready. Now we have to run that particular image. For that, we already know the command is docker run -d, and then we can provide the name and then put 8080 and the image name. The same command, just we need to copy and just build the image that we have created. The image is created is Tomcat image. Everything is same. Just press enter. And I think is a format issue. Just give me some. We need to provide the hyphen name. That's all. Okay. Just type the command. I think some format issue is there. Docker run -d is for the detached mode, and then we can hyphen name, and the name we can put any name for the container. It's called tomcatnew -p, the port name that we have to map 8080, and the image that we have created. The image name is Tomcat image. It will search that image locally, and if we found the image locally, then it will run the command. The container is created successfully. So whatever the things that we have created using the manual deployment, we have created using Dockerfile, we have generated the image successfully, and now the container is ready. To check that container is working or not, just open that EC2 URL. This is our machine URL, and :8080 / webapps. Sorry, 8080. I put the 8080. 8080. Oops. Something went wrong. So I have tied webapps inside of the webapps, so we can access that. Just copy that machine IP address, and then :8080 is basically for the URL for the port for that where the Tomcat is working and the slash webapp. So we are able to access this particular DevOps page that we have created for the simple application. So whatever the things that we have did in the manually, we have created the Docker file for the same, and we have created the Docker image. Now we will delete the everything. Just type exit, and if you say Docker PS, we are seeing that container is running already. So just stop that container. Docker stop. Tomcat new. Stop, and now we will remove that particular container. Docker rm, because we will create the same thing using a Jenkins. That's why I'm deleting everything, and we will remove that particular image as well. Docker rmi. The image name is Tomcat image. It's deleted now. So if you type Docker PS now, then no container is running. And if you refresh the same page, you are say it's not found because we have deleted the container, we have deleted the everything. So the particular site is down now. So till now, whatever the things that we have did, there are also manual part is there. We have created the Docker file manually, and then we will build it the Docker file, and then we have deployed the file using the basically building the image. The same thing we can do using the Jenkins also. So for the access, doing the same thing using the Jenkins, first we have to open the Jenkins. For that, the Jenkins is installed on this first machine. So copy the IP address for that particular machine. And since Jenkins is running on the 8080, sorry, 8080. So Jenkins, and we have created that particular Jenkins job. Before starting, just we need to update the IP address for the Linux B machine because we are using the public IP address and it's keep on changing once we have started the machine. So just copy the Linux B machine IP address and go to the configure system and just scroll down. Here we have configured the publish over SSH. So here we have defined the Linux B machine IP address because it's changed. Just we need to update that address. If you use the private IP address, then no need to change this again. But I'm using the public IP address, so just need to update the same. And the same thing that we have using that the command that we have providing. Now we will use the Jenkins job for that. Open the Jenkins job that we have created for as a deployment. Configure it. Just scroll down. Inside the publish over SSH plugin, we have one more option called execute commands. The commands that we are giving on the Linux B machine, the same commands we can provide into the Jenkins here. So Jenkins will connect to the Linux machine, B machine, because we have already made a connection, and that execute the command automatically. So the no need to create that particular, no need to build that particular Docker image manually and then start the container. So for the building the image, the command that we are using is docker build -t. The image name is Tomcat image and the dot. That we have command we have used to build that particular Docker file and generate the image. And the second command that we are using is docker run -d hyphen name is tomcatnew and then port and then the Tomcat image. So both the command that we are using on the Linux B machine, we have provided inside the execute commands. So the publish over SSH plugin basically will copy that particular var file, and the Docker file is already there that we have created on the Linux B machine, and then it will execute the command and do the deployment automatically. But the only disadvantage is there is that job is work when only the no image is present from this name on the Linux B machine. If the image already exists, then it will say the image is already there, use some other name. So for that, basically we need to remove all the images and the container manually. Then only we will we need to run this job. So that is the kind of a disadvantage is there, and that we will remove using the new advanced DevOps tool and the Ansible in the next lecture. But for now, just save this particular job and build it. So build is started, open that particular build and check the console output. So see, it's transferred the one file, build is success, and it's perform all the operation. So currently the site that is down now, if you refresh it again, see, it's up now. So whatever the things that we have did manually, we have completed using the but DevOps automation. So we have created a Jenkins job, we have created a Docker file, and then we will provide all the jobs and configuration into the Jenkins. So what all the things that we are doing, the Jenkins is work with the help of the Jenkins job only. So no manual work is there. If you run that particular Jenkins job, it will generate the WAR file, it will copy that particular WAR file, and it will build the Docker image, and then our deployment is completed. So all the things we are doing in the automation way. So slowly we have covered all the things manually, and then we have created a complete Jenkins job, and now we are doing the deployment using the Jenkins job. But only disadvantage there, if we run this job second time, just run it. Okay. So build is started. Since the image is already created on that particular machine, so it will complain like the image is already there and you need to create a new name for that. So this time build is failed, and if you check that error, so it will clearly says like the exception is coming for the build is unstable. And if you check the console error message also, webapp.war, see it share file because it's already been done for the configuration, and if you check that it's not able to run because the image is already there. So in this deployment approach, we need to remove the images manually and delete that particular image and stop that particular container and remove that particular container, and then only this job will run. So this is kind of a not a good practice to remove the container every time manually and delete the image and then generate the new image for that. So for the overcome this disadvantage, we will introduce the new DevOps tool called Ansible and discuss the all the prerequisite that is required for the Ansible, and then we will set up the Ansible and overcome this type of the disadvantages. So this automatic deployment using the Jenkins job is complete. In the next lecture, we will discuss what are the prerequisites required for the Ansible installation, and then we will slowly jump onto the Ansible and overcome all these disadvantages. So if you have any questions or query, you can reach out to me on the LinkedIn. My LinkedIn URL is given on the description box. So thank you. Thanks for your time.